Hi parents, this Sunday at Collide we're going to start one of our most important series of the entire year, a series that's called Love Struck, where we will deal head on with issues of relationships and sexuality. Our media and culture is pushing teenagers and preteens to be very flippant and casual when it comes to sex, and you know that many teenagers today are making decisions that are going to lead to a lot of regret down the road. I want to share just a few stats with you just to remind you how important this is. Something like 62% of teenagers will have sex by the time they graduate from high school. In middle school, that number is much lower. Something like 5% will have sex before they finish 6th grade, 15% before they finish 8th grade. I read an interesting statistic this week that 28% of teenagers have admitted to sending a fully nude picture of themselves through their phone. We know that most middle schoolers are not sexually active. However, this is an issue for everyone because every middle school, in the small decisions that they're making and in the way that they're thinking, are laying a foundation that's going to be their relationships and their sex life for the rest of their life. And the truth is, many middle schoolers are laying a foundation that's going to result in a lot of regret, in sin, and for many of them one day in divorce. I know that you want more for your son or daughter than that. So let me encourage you during this series to have conversations with your son or daughter. I know it can be uncomfortable, but we just need to push through that. Parents, you are still the number one influence in your child's life, even when it comes to issues of sexuality. They might not act like they're listening, but they really are, and it really does make a difference. You can talk about some of the mistakes that you've made in the past. That's a really good opportunity to talk about your personal experience with consequences and with God's grace. The big idea for this series is that we want students to ask the question, is this wise, rather than asking the question, is this allowed? So you can put that in your back pocket for the next time your son or daughter is pushing the limits on the clothing that they wear or on some other issue. If you want to see sort of a week-by-week description of the big idea that we're going to be talking about and the passage that we'll be looking at, you can look at the description below in this video so that you can see that before it happens on Sunday. Now, because we know that students are something like 10 to 20 times more likely to follow through on a decision if they write it down, each week your child's going to get one of these cards to take home, and we just want them to write something on this card when they get home. So you can encourage them to do that, you can ask them about it, and you can maybe even start your conversation that way. Each week during this series, we're going to upload the message onto our podcast. We'll try to do that on Sunday, and I really want to encourage you to find some time in your day to listen to it. Even if it's while you're cooking dinner or while you're running errands or just driving home from work, listen to that message so that you can have a deeper conversation with your child about what they're learning about at Collide. Parents, we know that this is difficult, but we also know that this is very important, and the conversations that you have will not be a waste of time. We'll be praying for you, and we look forward to hearing how God uses those conversations to shape your children.